Good day, everyone. John Morrow from Grimdark Magazine here. A huge thank you to all of you who have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button and please share your comments with us about this video. This one in particular addresses one of the questions that we receive a lot here at Grimdark Magazine, which is where to start reading Anna Smith Spark, the Queen of Grimdark. She is one of the most respected authors in the Grimdark community, and for very good reason. But people often wonder, should they read her from chronological order, or is there some other order that would work best in terms of being introduced to her writing style? And what I'd like to do today is to share with you my personal recommendations about my recommended order in which to read Anna Smith Sparks books. So to get started, the first book that I would recommend starting with is actually her newest novella. I have an arc of it right here. It says Time to Kill on the cover, but the actual name of it is In the Shadow of Their Dying. And this is a new novella that Anna Smith Spark has written together with Michael R. Fletcher, another one of the big names in the Grimdark community. And they're basically alternating chapters throughout this novella. It concerns the third best assassin, a second-rate mercenary crew, and one terrifying demon. And Anna Smith Spark is the one who provides the voice for this one terrifying demon. And it's really cool because you can get, both writers' writing styles. Michael R. Fletcher is more immediately accessible. He has a wicked sense of humor. And Anna Smith Spark writes with this kind of lyricism that puts you in the mind of this demon. And it's just a joy to, read this book and to go back and forth between the two different perspectives here that are being offered by Michael Fletcher and Anna Smith Spark. It's also a lot of fun from a plot point of view because I feel like they were trying to write themselves into a corner, like Fletcher was trying to put Anna's demon into a situation and see, how's she going to get out of this one? And then Anna would return the favor. This novella also features The Dripping Bucket, which is Michael R. Fletcher's interdimensional grimdark tavern. And it's something that a lot of authors have incorporated into their books, and it features prominently here. And to me, this is the best place to sort of dip your toes in the water of Anna Smith Sparks' writing and see how you like it. And it balances perfectly with Fletcher's writing as well. So this is where I would start, In the Shadow of Their Dying. The second book, once you have finished with that one, the next book that I would recommend is called A Woman of the Sword. And A Woman of the Sword is an epic fantasy seen through the eyes of an ordinary woman. Lide is a daughter, a wife, a mother, and a great warrior born to fight. Her sword is hungry for killing, her right hand is red with blood. War is very much a woman's business, but war is not kind to women, and war is not kind to mothers and their sons. And this paints just a really honest portrait of depression. The lead character is going through terrible depression, and Anna Smith Spark treats these mental health issues with um, such grace and such insight. And it also deals a lot with the difficulties of motherhood, especially during a time of war. And Anna Smith Spark is just so good at representing the violence, the tragedy of war from the point of view of ordinary people, and she just does it beautifully here. This book is just a wonderful standalone novel, and it's quite accessible and beautifully written, and just a wonderful grimdark tale. The next book that I would recommend is actually her original trilogy here, the first book being The Court of Broken Knives. This is the first book of her Empires of Dust trilogy. This concerns the richest empire that the world has ever known, and it's in decay. And there are four main point of view characters here that offer different portraits of gray morality, and they're all kind of struggling with all these different political schemes. Um, Now, the lead character here that makes the biggest impression in this first book is Marith, and he is just a brilliant grimdark protagonist who, takes that gray morality and progressively makes it darker and darker and darker. He's basically on the pathway to becoming a ruthless tyrant. And this book just does such a great job of getting into the psychology of kind of this villain in progress and seeing how he develops. From there, the next book of the trilogy is called The Tower of Living and Dying. And this one really features Talia, this high priestess who well, she ends up marrying Marith, and she was the most holy woman in the city of Sorlost, but what she desired was really her freedom. And Marith is the one that was able to give her that freedom. And there's this kind of wonderful, um, very unhealthy relationship between the two of them that, alternates between, what might be a genuine love, but also like a lust for power. And the psychological portrait of Talia here is just absolutely brilliant. And then the trilogy comes to its conclusion with The House of Sacrifice. This is the third and final book of the Empires of Dust trilogy. And Anna Smith Spark really takes this to what must be its inevitable end here. It's very Shakespearean in how she brings this to a conclusion. This is the one that has probably the best balance between Marith and Talia. And it turns out that the biggest threat to them may come from within rather than from outside. So at this point in time, they're overrunning the empire, building up their kingdom, expanding it, but at the same time, there's a madness that's coming from within. And Anna Smith Spark, as always, just does such a great job of treating these mental health aspects. Then the next book that I'd recommend is A Sword of Bronze and Ashes. This is probably the most challenging of her books, and it may actually be the best. This is kind of a grimdark fantasy slash folk horror that builds a lot upon Celtic, I think especially Welsh mythology. Um, and it adopts that type of narrative style where it's like you're being told these folk tales from medieval days. And that makes it challenging to get it into, but there's so many layers here, so much complexity to the main character, Khanda. So it says in the back here, Khanda leads a peaceful life as a farmer in the beautiful wild country she loves. She has a kind-hearted husband and three clever, fiercely independent daughters. A good life well lived until she wakes one fine summer morning to find an ancient evil from her past has returned, threatening everything she holds dear. And much like a lot of kind of medieval mythology, the line is really blurred between life and death. And Anna Smith Spark has a PhD in the classics, and I can tell that so much of her studies have been put into this, where she has done such a faithful replication of that style from medieval days. So, like I said, this isn't the best one to start with because it is the most difficult one in terms of its prose and plot and so on, but definitely recommended when you get to that point. And that covers Anna Smith Spark's 6 main novels. She also has a bunch of short stories, and the place where I would recommend starting with that is actually this volume here, Unbound 2, which was edited by Sean Speakman. He is the owner of Grim Oak Press and also an author himself. And this is just full of great stories from not only Anna Smith Spark, but other amazing authors like Mark Lawrence, Adrian Tchaikovsky, Dirk Ashton, Ken Scholes, Anna Stevens. They're all, every story in here is a winner. This is one of the best short story collections that I have read. So definitely pick up a copy of this if you are able as well. And so that does it for my recommended reading order for Anna Smith Spark. If you have any comments, if you agree or disagree, I would love to hear your comments down below. Thanks again for watching the video, and if you like it, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.